What's going on, miners? ChumpChangeXD here with the Hobbyist and DJ Mines for another episode of the Mining Roundtable, episode 17, I believe it is. And yeah, we have again, like I said, substitute DJ Mines. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, dude? Honored to be here, gentlemen. I've watched all of them, but finally I get to be on the show.
Perfect. How are you, Hobbyist?
Good. Busy. Lots going on. I think we'll catch up with everybody today. But it's nice to get back to this. I'm excited to dive back into things.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as everybody knows, you know, Red Fox hasn't been around for a little bit, but all is well. He's okay. I just wanted to touch on that briefly before we got too far into it. I guess I'll let the Hobbyist take it away because he actually spoke to him yesterday just to make sure everything was good. So go for it, buddy.
Yep. So Red Fox, Mike, still alive, still kicking. So that's good. Life's good. Wife's good. Kids are good. So kid is good. But yeah, just caught up with life. Has some that thing called real life going on. That is just locked in all of his time based off my conversation with him, keeping his security and personal life at bay here. We don't need to get too far into it, but just has some stuff going on, which we all have it. I had my stew of things not too long ago as well. It happens. It's good. Chatting with him, it sounded like he's hoping to get back into things within the next 6 weeks. So that gives the community some hope to see that, him returning to content, returning to mining. He said he's still mining ethereum. He moved a bunch of his stuff to his garage. He's got stuff in the basement. So eager to kind of catch up with him and kind of find out what he's doing. As last we heard, he was starting his garage project, and that was like where things left off, and we heard nothing else. So yeah, that's kind of Red Fox's situation. So we hit up Mr. DJ Mines here and said, hey, you mind stepping in, keep this kind of show going? We've been on a hiatus for far too long, and he was generous to give us his time and talent. So welcome again, Mr. DJ Mines.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
So what have you been up to,
Big shoes
DJ?
to fill.
Yes, absolutely. Big shoes to fill.
Man, so that 4 gigahash farm that I purchased in April, that hasn't worked out well because of the shed. But, it's coming to the point where I got to sue the guy. It's going to take a lot of time. So I decided to get that hosted. And I can't say exactly how much it costs, but it's under 10 cents right now. I sent it all out. Ended up costing like $850 to ship it, which is good because I'm making more than that easily. So I can't keep losing thousands of dollars. And the best part is I don't have to really do anything to it. It'll just mine for half of the about half the rate it would have been for me after all. So yeah, I think it's worth it long term for me.
Yeah, it's a sweet deal. I mean, if it's cheaper and you don't have to worry about like looking at the cards or sweating in your room, like, right? Because you had like one area that was stupid hot, right? I think you were streaming one time and you were like sweat coming down. You're like, it's like 90 in here, guys. I can't do it.
Oh, that's still going on right now. All these rigs.
I can see them. I can see them. Oh my! So those are running. All those behind you. I thought they were empty. One of them looks empty anyway.
So this is the new GPU risers one. I was gonna fill it out, but then I sent up everything. But everything else is running. Not at this current moment because it makes a lot of noise. We're recording. Yeah.
That's
crazy. I should have
shut
shut mine off. Our mine bot is mine like terrible. The background noise.
Can't even hear it.
No.
Can't even hear it.
Perfect. Awesome. I got the whole farm up and running right now. Like fans roaring.
I that's awesome. You because awesome, I wish mine was up and running. Unfortunately, I did have to shut off just temporarily, but it's nice because I was able to order some new solar panels and get prepped to start putting some more solar together, and then eventually turn on the Doge miners and just the little things that I can start off of with just solar, and then hopefully the price comes up by the time I'm done tinkering. But yeah, so how's the electrical situation messing with you, Hobbyist? I know DJ has been fighting to get power. Now you're fighting to keep your rate, right? Or something along those lines?
Yeah. So about a little less than a year ago, I talked about it with you guys. In Pennsylvania, you can shop the supply side. You can't shop your the generator distributor, but the supply side. So that was about half of my bill then. So at that point, it was about $250, that part of the bill. And I shopped it to an unlimited rate at $69.99 a month, which was a huge home run. So it didn't matter how much I used. That part of the bill was $69.99.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which was awesome. And at that time I was at like 4,000 kilowatt hours. And so anyways, jump ahead. I'm over 10,000 right now. So that was 4,000. I'm over 10,000 right now. And I had called up the company to find out like when my contract ends. The company's name was WGL. They're a wind energy company. And they said, yeah, your contract ends August 24th. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, how can I renew that? Like, I want to lock in 2 years or 3 years, like, give it to me type of deal. And they're like, actually, we can't let you. I'm like, why? And they're like, well, you're 3 times the amount you signed up for your contract. And you're using far more than this plan's designed for. And I'm like, all right. So then I took the liberty to like find out like what options they had. And like, I actually wrote it down here on my sheet. So like I started to really shop it, and like the unlimited option wasn't an option with them. And if I was to go with them, I'm like, all right, well, what's my rate? Whatever. And it was like 14 cents. Well, if I took that, I calculated it out. I would have went from $69.99 to $1,400 on just that side of the bill.
Ooh.
And I was like, I even said to the lady, I'm like, what planet are you on?
Right.
I'm like, did you like what? And she's like, yeah, rates are up high. I'm like, my salary didn't go up that much. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I was like, I'm gonna have to start looking elsewhere. So I started to shop it, and started to call around to different companies. I use PA Power Switch as the name of a website, and you can kind of like shop it type of deal. So I called some companies, and another company was like, oh, well, we don't have that one anymore, but this one's available, and it's like 12 cents. Well, it still means $1,200 because you're taking your 10 cents times your kilowatt hours total. So I was like, well, shit, what do I do here? Like, if all said and done, I'd end up being like through the roof. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking. Finally, I find a company named Inspire, and I reach out to them, and let me find it real quick so I don't quote it wrong. Got it on my little notepad here. So with Inspire, they were willing to do 10 cents. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. But that still would be $908 because my last bill was at 9,080 kilowatt hours. So I was like, that's better. Like, I'll take it. That's better,
right.
But I'm still not there. And they're like, oh, well, we could do an unlimited plan for you for 500. And I'm like, all right.
Done.
So it sucks. It sucks that I'm going from $70, which was like golden. Like, you even said, ChumpChange, you and your wife were like, well, what's the catch? And thankfully there was no catch. Like, it was legit. It lasted a year. But after that year, they're like, we can't offer that to you anymore. So what that means is that in August, I'm going to sign up for Inspire. My bill's going to go up $430. But that's actually decent versus what everyone else is dealing with.
That's really good.
So it's at the end of the day, I'll end up being about if I stay where I am, under $1,000 for electric each month is what I'm going to be at. So I'm like, I'm going right now on my last bill. Last month was $450. I'm going to jump to $1,000, which is rough to swallow, but mining's still profitable for me because of YouTube. That's all I'm going to like tell people like straight up. Like, it is not because of mining that I can keep mining and pay my electric bill. I'm not cashing out to pay for operating costs. I'm blessed. YouTube is profitable for me to allow me to keep doing my hobby.
Right.
So that's the only way I'm doing it. So I end my operating costs at the end of the day, look at it as a business. My operating cost is going up $500.
Right.
But overall, as a business, I'm still in the green and still running profitable between YouTube and mining. So that's kind of where we are. So sorry, long-winded, but that's the whole scoop as to what's going on.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's cool that you can actually shop your rates. So I know my wife was able to find that we could shop one side of the bill or whatever. I don't understand how they. So one's delivery and one's supply. Like what?
Think of a pie that's cut in half.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, you have supply.
Yeah.
And on the right-hand side, you have distribution and generation. You can't shop distribution and generation. That's like me. Like, I have PPL. I can't get away from it. But the last mile, they call it, which is your quote supplier, is the one that you can shop traditionally. My supplier could be PPL, which they would have the whole pie, which that was one of my options to look at, but that would have put me at $1,200. Like, I looked at just going with them.
I gotcha. Yeah, so we were able to do that for like half the bill, and I think it was like high 14 cents or something, but still it's not for me. Like, the other side's still 24.5 or whatever it is. It's not feasible, you know what I mean? It's like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
We can't, National Grid is just brutal around here, and I don't understand why, but it is what it is. So yeah, I was 3 times what you're going to be paying. So I was $3,000. The highest was $3,300 for a month. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not footing that, especially right now in this market. Like, it's not gonna, I'm not even gonna cover half of it. I'd rather just buy 3 Ethereum. You know what I mean? Makes no sense.
And it's a double whammy right now, because like operating costs are going up with the cost of electric, and then on top of that, crypto profits have come down. So now they've gotten to a point where literally, like, you could cash out your Ethereum that you're making every month, but it still wouldn't cover your operating cost, which is that electric cost. And so, like, it's a smart move, 100%. It definitely is a smart move. I mean, it's business. At the end of the day, do you operate in the red and fork over that dough? It's like,
you're not gonna last long. What about you?
Yeah, DJ, you were in the same boat in your shed situation though with the electric. You just you couldn't get your electric, and you were just eating cost, right?
Man, I was losing thousands because I had 4 gigahash plus not mining at all. But originally, when I talked to my neighbor, he said he was spending 12 cents. But then it's been 3-4 months. He said now he's up to 17. It's National Grid as well.
Oh,
at least for my area, it's a monopoly. There's no other option. You can't get another option.
You can't do that one side of the pie.
So really, I mean, what are you going to do if they raise rates on you? There's nothing you can do. And you're screwed. Take it. That's what they say.
That's it. So tell us your, if you don't mind, do you want to go into the shed a little bit? The whole situation, you were waiting on the panel or whatever. Is that the whole situation? You couldn't get it finished?
I'll give you the TLDR. It's a long story. All right.
Thank you.
So total was $12,000. The guy ended up doing just the outlets and stuff. And I ordered he originally told me 3 to 4 weeks complete, done. Right. It takes 1 day of work, blah, blah. I was like, cool. About three weeks into it, I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, oh, National Grid's not contacting us, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, and the 400 amp panel, which I had to pay him $2,500 for. It was like included in that price. He's like, oh, man, I couldn't find it. It's going to be 20 to 35 weeks. I'm like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for, man. I was like, nothing about 20 to 30. I said, you know what? Let me look around and I'll try. And I said, you try too. He never tried. He never did anything. I found a place. The guy's still trying to get me the final pieces, man. Like it's so difficult to get things with the supply chains right now. I mean, very, very difficult. Months go on. I say, hey, man, just refund me. Because at this point, he had done nothing. I was like, just refund me, man. Eventually, when I told him that, he's like, okay, I'll do the outlets. He did all the outlets. It was 10 240s and I think 8 of the 120s. And then he's like, cool, that should hold you off. He never turned in the paperwork for National Grid to ever come out because they're going to be the ones who replace the pole and do the meter. But he doesn't ever want to admit that. Time goes on. It's been about 4 months. And I sent him a message and I'm like, look, man, like no more games, because I've been calling this guy week after week, day after day, emails as well, not responding at all. And I sent a message, look, dude, you got 2 weeks. We're going to take this to court. He freaks out, blah, blah, blah. And then now I don't want to answer his call because he hasn't answered my call in like a month, right? So I'm not going to answer your call when I tell you I'm going to sue you. He says, hey, you owe me $800. He sends me the part list of what it is. And it's, he says, I want another $800. So I gave him 6,000 already, and he wants an additional $800. He charged me $130 for 16 hours of work, which is ridiculous. $130 an hour. Plus the cable, he tried to charge me 2 miles worth almost between the two. And it's like ridiculous. And it's
like a 10-foot run. And it's like,
2 miles?
Even if you ran that.
Of wiring. And like this guy is a total fluke. And he changed the invoice on us. Thankfully, I have pictures of the original, but he just randomly changed it because he knows when I take him to court, the stuff that he's provided is not even close to $6,000, you know?
Right.
And so at that point,
I told DJ to measure the runs so that if he gets to court and it's like, wait, on here you have 2 miles worth of cable, but you ended up having 100 feet of cable used. Why are you price gouging the customer to make up your cost?
Right.
Like it's like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's quite sickening. So at that point, sorry, TLDR again. At that point, I was like, you know what, man, I'm done with this right now. I found a buddy who could host for me, and I was like, I did the math 4 times. I was probably gonna make around 3,000 a month off that farm, at least at the time. I lost about 12 grand, about what I should have paid him just because of him not having my stuff up and running. So I had to get it hosted. I had to do something. Yeah.
No, good for you, man. Good for you for, taking the initiative to change your your setup, because I know that's hard. Like, you bought that property specifically for mining, and now are you gonna sell it? Like, what, are you just gonna sit on it? That's really, I mean, what are you gonna do? Do you have any plans for it? Do you think you're gonna get rid of it?
No, hell no.
I don't know how much land it is. I only seen the shed. Is there a house attached, or is it just the shed? I think it's just a shed, right?
No, that's just for that property. It's just a shed. Okay. It's probably like half an acre total, because I bought 2 lots next to each other. It's
that's cool.
Small, but no, man, not my plan. Hopefully for the next bull cycle, which I'm assuming, not financial advice, 2024. That's when I think it's going to happen, once the Bitcoin halving comes. I think closer as we get to that. And if you ever look at the 4-year cycle, I'm pretty positive towards the end of, or even middle of 2023 is when we'll start to see things pick up again. So yeah, my plan is just get it up and running. Even if I don't have anything in there, get it up and running. And when the boom does happen, and I want to buy during the bear market.
I think 24 is a good call. You're also going to have, not to get too political, but it's also your presidential election. So at the same time, new administration, that I mean, help out with the economy, whatever it is. I mean, not to get too political, but we can only go up from here. So it's like, all right, that in mind.
One of the questions we had from my VIP section in Discord was, when do you think the market will recover, or will it ever? And that's, you guys jumped right into it. It makes total sense. So the presidential election, that usually does weigh pretty big on a lot of factors when it comes to stocks and all that, correct? I mean, I'm not into stocks, DJ is. But yeah, and then the Bitcoin halving, that's usually, the cycles of crypto itself is usually right around the halving points, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, we saw crypto do super well. One, the economy was in a different place. In the last, I've only been in the scene 2 years. And in that time period, I came in, it was super fruitful, different administration, different job economy. We were looking really good. The stock market was booming, crypto was booming. But we also, as time period of COVID, we also had a lot of money being injected, a lot of these stimulus checks, a lot of people staying home, a lot of extra cash. People were buying. Well, when people are buying, things are good. And that worked out well. Well, now these people aren't taking their extra cash and investing into a market that is down 70+%. So that is 2024 is where I'm putting my crosshairs. So I'm trying to plan accordingly. Like, what can I do between now and then in order to be ready for it? And one may be like, oh my gosh, that's so far out, but it's really not. Like, at the grand scheme of things, you have 2 years or less to get your shit together, pretty much.
Right.
Your infrastructure, electric, operating costs, your hardware. And now's a great time because prices are low, on everything across the board. So I'm hoping that really does it. DJ, what are your thoughts? 2024, you mentioned it with the Bitcoin halving. Do you agree with, the presidential election and everything like that, or where are you at?
I do think that to answer the viewer's question, I'm going to say like this. I think we have a lot more pain. The reason is we are in a recession. However, not to get political, but no one wants to admit that. The Fed refuses to admit that right now. The president refuses to admit that at this moment. But guess what happens in July? Do you guys know? If that will officially put us into a recession if we go one more time negative GDP.
2 quarters.
2 quarters back to back. And I can tell you, so next month, which is in 8 days, somewhere in there, plus or minus a couple weeks for the actual announcement, I predict that we will officially be in a recession. Once that gets out, everybody kind of already knows it, but once it's official, I think that's a huge catalyst for disaster in the short term.
It's like the panic button. Right.
That's the panic button for the stock market. And what happens in the stock market, unfortunately, these days affects the crypto market. Then we got to remember Ethereum, if that ever does end up happening, who knows if it will, but if it does, I think price is going to go down big time on GPUs from here. And I think I would not be surprised if Bitcoin hits 10K or even lower. I'm not sure. There's no way for me to know, of course, but that's what I think. But yeah, 2024, I think before that, we should recover a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking Bitcoin probably go around the 10K area before it stops. It's a disgusting descend, I guess we would call it. But I don't know, man. This whole market's crazy as hell. It is absolutely crazy seeing a $60,000 Bitcoin going down to, what was it, 17 it hit or something.
Yeah, 17. Yep.
Dude, it's scary as hell, but we got to think about, what was it, 2017 when it went from 20K to 3, you know, it was like high 19s to 3,000. It just, I mean, nothing is impossible. And I'm pretty sure everybody can attest to that. Let's roll this over to the EVGAQ. That's what you wanted to talk about, right, Mr. DJ? Is there some news on that you want to talk about?
Absolutely. So I got an email, I believe it was last night, but I saw it this morning, and I was like, oh, EVGA, they selected me. You know, it's been a year and a half waiting on that 3080 non-LHR. I wasn't going to buy it, but still cool, right? Because you've waited so long. Well, guess what? It was letting me know that I have not been selected, that in fact, there is no more queue on the 30 series. It's gone. There's no more queue. So
they're just like, hey, by the way, see ya.
Yep. So now they're just going to start selling them on their website. Right.
Wow.
Or through the B stock, but that's refurbished. I don't really know all the details just yet. They haven't started it. But if you look on B stock right now, prices are down huge, like drastically. I saw a 3080 Ti for, I think it was $1,100, a 3080 Ti from, you know, that's a for the win 3. This isn't some Zotac or Gigabyte.
That's crazy.
And cards are down $400, $500, $600. If you look at the PSUs, they have a 1600 watt titanium. Are you kidding me? I've never had a titanium, never even seen a titanium. It's like $180. I mean, dirt.
Oh, wow.
1600 really watts used to cost $500 for the P2 titanium.
Yep. I was gonna say titaniums were like $700 or something crazy. Oh my gosh, that's nuts, man. What about, do you use EVGAQ, Hobbyist? Did you used to do that? I never did.
I haven't. I never was. I think I got into like the Zotac queue, and I know, don't talk about Zotac, like, it's just, but I got into the Zotac queue once, but other than that, no, I've never really played the game with it. You know, I was talking with somebody today about card prices, so it's really funny, like, just kind of comes up. And they were like, have card prices come down? And I was talking to them about some cards that they bought a year ago that were like $400. And it was like pre-owned 3070s on Facebook Marketplace are going for $450. So it's like, wait, what? Like, it just blew the mind. Like, and I was even saying, like, I bought my, just think of it here, guys. I bought my 580s when in the height of things at like 350. Yeah. And I thought that was a deal because we saw them as high as 500 during the height of things. Now you can get like a 3070, like the cream of the crop 3070 for anywhere between 350 to 450. Like pre-owned off Facebook Marketplace, you know, it's like, holy cow. And that's what list price is. It's not even negotiated. Like, I saw one today and I was so tempted, but I'm like, no, I'm not buying any new hardware. Like, I'm hanging tight with what I got until I can get my electric stuff under control. But it was like a 3070. I was like, I bought my first 3070 just 2 months ago for $599, and I thought brand new. And I thought that was a steal. Now I'm like, I should have just waited and bought a pre-owned one.
Dude, the height of the
prices
market,
are amazing.
I think I paid like $12.50 for a 3070 at one point. That was disgusting. Ooh. It was disgusting. But
I paid $9.50 once back in April.
Yeah, they all paid themselves off. So whatever, it is what it is. I was 56 actually. He sent me I was just looking for it. He sent me an image that it was a scalper that had a whole bunch of GPUs in boxes like on his wall, and he was complaining that he had lost $20,000 because the market tanked or whatever. And I'm like, serves you right. Like, F you, you're making all this money off us for who knows how long. Like, sorry that you were the problem.
The hard part there,
you know,
the hard part there with scalping is like, you can't buy that much in bulk.
Right.
Because you need to be able to move it instantly.
Right.
Because if the market does what it did, you're screwed. Yep. So like, it sounds like that guy went in big, got a big bulk order thinking he'd sell it, and then all of a sudden got screwed. And that's the downside. Like, buying in bulk is awesome because you can get major discounting.
Right.
But if you're just looking to flip those cards, you're running into some big issues. I remember when I first started mining, like my first few videos, I bought like these 970s, like MSI 970 was my first GPU I bought to mine. I bought 2 of them. And I bought them for $100. I plugged them in. They did 5.5 mega hash on Ravencoin. And I was like, all right, awesome. Well, I sold them 2 weeks later for 200 each. So I doubled my profit on it.
Oh, damn.
Well, I did that with a few GPUs. I bought and resold. just to kind of get up to par.
Yeah.
But it was like I was flipping. This was at the height, January or February 2 years ago, February, March 2 years ago. But you had to flip them instantly. I was almost buying them, and by the time I got them in, I was relisting them. And it was just for like the first few months, just to get enough cash flow to start buying some decent hardware. That's how I afforded my 12 470s.
Dude,
I bought 12 470s.
Good way to do it.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
12 470s for $120 each, and that was March, April 2 years ago when like the market was booming and like we were rocking. And I thought I was singing. I was like my first 12 GPUs, bought them in bulk. I was all excited. You know?
What do those do for hash rate? Those 470s.
I do the 470s now on Ethereum Classic.
Okay.
I had them on Ravencoin for a year and a half until the last halvening just kind of tanked and didn't do anything for it.
Right.
So they were on Ravencoin for a while, and it was really interesting. Small snippet on that. Those 12 cards were giving me like at the height were giving me like 10 Ravencoin a day, and I was like, hell yeah, let's keep it going. That 6500 XT I did a video on the other day was giving me 10 Ravencoin a day by itself.
Oh wow.
So
that's big.
talk about yield.
Huge,
it's not hash rate difference. It's really yield difference.
Right.
The yield back then was everybody was on Ravencoin versus now. That's the difference. 12 cards versus 1 card, and they were about the same. So yeah. So they do right now. I have them at about 28 to 29 mega hash on Ethereum Classic. I mean, they paid for themselves already. Right, and I just have them running on Ethereum Classic with my Jazz Miner. Those are the 2 rigs I have on ETC. Running at all times, and it's like, well, you could run it on that or maybe Ergo. I mean, Ravencoin's been weird. Do you guys know what's been going on with Ravencoin the last few days where it's been like profitable, and I don't know why?
I know it's 2 cents right now. I don't know why it'd be profitable.
I saw that today. Yeah, I have no idea why. It just totally, that whole project, I feel like it just went to shit, and I don't know. I never really mined Ravencoin. I did at the beginning when I first started GPU mining because Kapow came out. That, you know, when I got into crypto mining, that's when I found out about Red Panda and all that. So that was the thing. Go on friggin' Ravencoin. All right, let's do that. I didn't know anything, right? No overclocking, nothing. I was running these things so hot, so inefficient. I had not a clue what I was doing. DJ, give us your thoughts. What about Ravencoin? You got anything?
Can I say something on the GPUs before that?
Do it.
So something you guys kind of mentioned. I was talking to Panda about this when we're playing some StarCraft, and I was whooping that ass, by the way, Panda.
You had to add that in. You had to add it in.
I'm sorry. I got to throw the shade because you know. Okay. Anyways.
That's great.
Anyway, but like, no, seriously, I really want to buy a lot of graphics cards, even if I can't mine with them, like straight up, assuming it's going to. Yeah, for investment, like assuming it gets as bad as I think it's going to get after Ethereum, like I'm trying to buy like a couple hundred graphics cards and just hoard them. Even if literally, even if they're not profitable to mine, I'll, you know, hopefully get them for $100, $120 here and there, hoard them until the next bull run, sell them all for $400, make, you know, tens of thousands of profit. And that's something I've been thinking about. Yeah, I think honestly, there's ways to make money.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy actually for when, you know, things come back. Buy now, sell then. Because I mean, if we look, like everybody was just saying, I got my RX 580s for $169 or something, I think, on eBay used, and they've ran this entire time solid. And again, the height of the market, Hobbyist said, what, $500 or what was it, $700 or something? I forget what you were saying, around there. But
for the 580s,
that's that's a lot. Like, that's a lot to be able to flip that old card for. People aren't gonna care, you know. But back on the Ravencoin thing, do you have anything to say about that, DJ? Do you know anything about Ravencoin? Are you mining it? No, hell no. I tried it last summer and I was dying in this room. I mean, it's just not worth it to me. Now, for the record, I like Ravencoin. I support the project. I don't mine it, but I support them and I appreciate what they do for the community. You're trying to stay ASIC resistance, but I'm sorry, that algorithm is just not going to work for me. I mean, why can't they go to something like Flux? Because Flux is ASIC resistant and it's not even anywhere near, you know, as harsh as Kapow or ProgPow or something like, or FIRO, or, I was just gonna say FIRO Power. If anybody doesn't know, go watch DJ's video. He had a sick video about why FIRO is now dead to him. I don't know if you want to touch on it. You can a little bit if you want, but
I saw some
I don't mind
tweets going around.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
What's just from that one guy? All right, so what happened? Let's just give us the TLDR. Let's do it. Or you give us the whole thing. I don't care.
I'll try to give it to you. I'll try to save you the time.
Oh, all right, man.
I had Ruben Yap, the co-founder of FIRO, on my show, and he was just so pro GPU mining, et cetera, et cetera. And I put a video out because I learned, I believe it was on the 16th, that they nerfed mining by half of our rewards, right? Wow. And so they gave it away to the nodes, and 10% of it went to I forgot what it's called. It wasn't dev fee. It was some weird thing like community fund. What does that even mean? But whatever, right? So they nerf us half. They give it to the nodes, and so it's like, okay, wow. If you look on their website, and from what I was speaking to him about, to Ruben about, was that they're very pro GPU mining, blah blah blah. And then when it comes down to it, they have a little vote, and the only people apparently that voted were the node people, and of course they voted to get double profits, right? And so that's what they're getting now, is double profits. And it's like, dude, if you just want to go proof of stake, just go proof of stake, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, I mean, you can't just nerf the miners more than double what they were, and then all of a sudden everybody's happy about it. So I actually talked to him privately. Out of respect, I did say I wouldn't talk about it. What he told me, he tried to clear it up, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on some of it, but overall, man, it came down to the vote, and the miners didn't vote. Right at the end of the day, it was like no one voted to keep it the way it was, like nobody. And that's because literally the miners weren't involved in the vote. So I mean, there is some ownership that we have to take as a community, or the people that were mining FIRO that aren't checking their Discord. I guess it went on for quite some time. They're always adding everybody, hey, make sure you vote, and just, you know, the miners don't give a shit. They just want their money, which is cool. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hard part is like, if you're a project that is preaching proof of work from your miners, then, and that's your core, you're like, our core values, you know, a lot of companies speak to that, their core values, and proof of work is our core value. And then you move away from that. It's like, wait, you're just changing your identity. Like, why was that even, that should have been knocked down instantly when it was like, I'm sorry, DJ, but going that direction goes against our core values. We can't go that direction, because we need to stick to our core values, which is proof of work. Like that's the interesting part. And it's like, you know what, FIRO, if you're chasing the dollar, you're chasing the dollar. That's fine. Like, just be honest with it. You could say your project isn't profitable in the current state, and you want to pivot to a more profitable direction for your developers, and fine. Like, I think the transparency is more the big one. Hey, we found proof of work with mining just isn't working out for us. We need to pivot in order to keep up with our operating costs. Okay, great. Yeah, that's rough though, to say the least.
It's tough, man. It really is. And yeah, I don't know. It hurts me on a personal level, because I've been saying nothing but good things about FIRO, and every video, I mean, it's a small coin, right? I don't have to mention it in my videos when I'm doing hash rate reviews, you know what I mean? But I choose to, because I like what they're doing. I'm like, hey guys, here's Flux, here's Ethereum. Oh, by the way, here's FIRO. You know, maybe somebody new out there is like, what's FIRO? Maybe they'll look into it, right? But now that's done. All right, you turn your back on me. I mean, that's it for me personally.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not wrong to be mad, you know. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion and stuff, and I mean, yeah, what they did was kind of dirty in my mind. That's a little crazy. I mean, I wasn't a huge again, the whole kapow, FIRO pow, not for me. My electric rates wouldn't agree with it, and yeah, it would just be
I'll be curious to catch up with Red Fox on the topic. I know he had multiple rigs on FIRO. He was looking to try to get a master node. I know he was really big into when they flipped over their algorithm. You know, I remember him talking about that, like staying up late, making sure it flipped all over, stuff like that. I actually had a rig. I just did a rig like a month ago, not even, on FIRO, and I had my 6600s on FIRO. And Mr. DJ Mines persuaded me to flip off, you know. I was like, no, I'm done. Good job, DJ Mines, for giving me the details. Yeah, it's a shame with FIRO, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
I was actually going to open up a node. I was very excited about that for them. Not anymore. Oh no.
How much did it take to open a node?
I don't think it was much. I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. I know it wasn't much though.
Is a master node's different though, right? A master node's like a bigger node. Am I wrong about that, or is it?
I don't know the difference.
I know
Do you know
different levels. Hobbyist is
but it wasn't even to make money.
I was looking on their website.
I didn't even think you heard him. You just like,
No, I was trying to grab an answer real quick before I responded. No, yeah, no, I'm not sure exactly.
Admittedly, I didn't look that much into it. I saw them say something about Twitter, and like I said, you know, if I can support you and I like what you're doing, I'll support you, man. Same thing with Flux. Like, I always want to get a Flux node. The only reason I can't get a Flux node at this current moment is because I don't have enough upload. But when Titan comes out, when I think that releases fairly soon, actually,
Q3, Q4, soon. They said,
yeah, then that's my opportunity, you know, to get involved with the node. So
and
it's not about the money.
Lower level amount of Fluxing too, I believe. They have like a couple different ones coming out in Q3, Q4.
I got my first node. Heck yeah. Nice. You got one.
Yep.
You got one too there, Mr. Chump Change.
Yep. I actually, the video I dropped, so you guys are seeing this the next day, but to be yesterday, I dropped a simpleswap.io video. And that I actually swapped some Ethereum to get enough Flux for my second node. So I'll be starting up another node soon. That's going to be my plan though. They're just low wattage, man. They're easy to, you know, I mean, you don't have to do anything. You just plug them in and call it a day. Once it's all set, it's set. You just got to update it every now and then. And I will have a video on how to update your node coming out real soon. But yeah, I mean, what are you thinking about? You want to do a Flux node? You said, DJ, you're going to do like the smaller tier, or now I don't know if you guys saw my profitability video with the Cumulus node. It was like, I got like 3 payouts. I think it was like 25 or so Flux, and it seems like it'll be worth it in the long run if Flux actually takes off and, you know, gains more value, I guess, because right now it's pretty low. So swapping was a good option.
It's a staking method. Like, it's a staking method, but it's collateral. They actually call it collateral,
right?
And so like all you're doing is providing 1,000 Flux or whatever tier you do. Cumulus is 1,000. And then you're making money off of it. So it's like you're making more Flux about it. So I have 2 ways. I could throw it in my wallet and it sits there, or I could put it into a Flux node and then I'm making Flux off of it. And if ever I need to pull it, I can pull it instantly. So it's like a savings account almost. It's like you just throw it in there and you're just earning a small % of return. It's not, you're not going to move mountains with it. It's not like a holy cow, like look at the amount of money I'm making, but it's a great avenue to just earn a little bit extra Flux versus just sitting it there. So it's like, as a miner, I love it because I'll mine the Flux on my rigs I have now. It's like a whole ecosystem. I'll mine the Flux. Then after I mine the Flux, I'm going to go ahead and take that Flux and invest it into a node to make me more Flux.
Right. Yeah, like I think we talked about it with Red Fox one time. It was like how ways to make your money work for you or whatever. And yeah, he was the one that mentioned doing all the nodes, and I think that's when he talked about the master node. Actually, I just can't remember if that's like a high tier node or whatever. But there was another question we had in VIP Discord chat of mine. We had talking about ROI. Hawk actually brought it up. Hawk Crypto Mining Co. said that Hobbyist had a good. His name is so freaking long. Can you just call yourself Hawk? For Christ's sakes. Jesus. He said Hobbyist had a good outlook on ROI. I don't know if that's what you and him talked about in your, I know you guys had a video together you did on his channel, but I don't know if there was a segment where you guys actually specifically talked about ROI, or if you talked about it privately. Could you give us a little bit on that?
Yeah, I'll give a quick stint on it, and then I would love to get DJ's outlook on this coming in differently. So this is going to be hard for people to swallow. ROI is dead. And I cannot wait to make a video on this because I'm going to have so many haters on this. ROI is dead. If you buy hardware today, you're lucky for it to be profitable. Like, profitability right now is very minimal. So in the video I actually put out today, I talked about how most miners that are mining today, it's hard to say, but you're a speculative miner now. You're speculating that profits are going to go back up. Now, there's some GPUs where you're still in the green. A lot of GPUs that you're in the red, and then you got to make the decision. Do you turn off like ChumpChange said, or do you mine speculating it'll go back up and you eat that cost? So I've seen a lot of people in YouTube comments. I've seen people in Discord that are like, why would you buy that? Like, that won't ROI for 1,200 days. They're right.
Yeah.
Buying hardware right now is a risk. And just like DJ had talked about earlier in this episode, it's an investment. And like, if you're buying hardware now to try to ROI under 365 days, remember that used to be the way it was like a year ago? Right. It was like, I'll buy it. It has to be under 365 days. You can't have that mindset anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Profitability is down, down, down. It is not there anymore. And so that was something that him and I discussed at a brief level, where it was like, a lot of miners in our community have not switched gears in their head yet, understanding that ROI is a thing of the past. So I constantly see it. Like, I talked about like a Dogecoin miner, like in my video today, Litecoin miner, and explaining that like these are not profitable right now to run, but you're not going to ROI them. Like, but you buy this hardware with a speculation that you believe the entire market will rebound. So that was my outlook on ROI. I don't know if you share it, DJ. You completely disagree with it. What are your thoughts on ROIing in the mining community today?
I hate to be that guy like Max, but ROI means that you made double what you put into it. Break even, I think, is what everybody's trying to do. I'm sorry, but I always agree with Max when he says that.
It's true.
That's just how my mind thinks. Every time I hear ROI, it's like nails on a screen. But I get what you guys mean. So I would say you're right on like a small scale, right? So like if you have a couple gigahash or something, maybe that's not even small. Right. But yeah, you're making $20, $30, you know, but like now I'm at 8.5. I'm still making $100 a day. You know what I mean? It's pretty solid. And so like, I think the larger you've scaled and continue to scale, but it has to be at the right price for the GPUs. You're not feeling the pain quite as bad. You are obviously feeling it, but like, I'm still cool with making 32,000 for the year. I mean, it's not great. You know what I mean? But like, I'm still fairly happy. Yeah, because I have a full-time job.
Right.
I have a full-time. This is just for fun. I mean, I'd love to make money from it. Obviously,
too many people quit their jobs at a gigahash and think that mining is going to pay the bills.
Oh no!
Right. So that's the mistake where people go. They assume that just crypto's great now. It's gonna be great forever, and those are the people that didn't really do the digging and the research to understand market cycles and get that things go up and down with the economy, and just like there's so many factors of life that affect, like Corona, dude. Like that pandemic alone ruined so many things out of the blue, and that could happen to anything, like literally anything in this world, so that's a huge mistake when it comes to basically putting in money that you can't afford to lose. Like you're literally throwing your feet in without even like looking in the water. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. You got to be careful. You always got to be careful.
And also the coin, again, it's just my opinion, guys. Could be completely wrong a year from now, 6 months from now, a month from now. But also, I think the coin that you mine is so important. It's really, really important. That's why everything for me and my strategy is Bitcoin. Everything I mine just automatically converts to Bitcoin, because I really believe in Bitcoin years from now. Everything else, very, very speculative, extremely speculative. I do love my Flux, right? And I support Flux, and I support a lot of these projects. I hope that they'll do really well, but I don't know for a fact, or feel like it's almost a fact that they'll all do well. Ergos and stuff.
Give it to us. I want to know, was your mindset changed after, well, I kind of know the answer, but after Bitcoin conference, right? 2022, that's what you went to. Is that what it was called? I forget.
Yeah. BTC 2022.
All right. So
you drank
BTC
the Kool-Aid.
2022.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So your entire mindset on crypto in general, more or less, changed to be pro Bitcoin versus just everything, right? Is that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And oh God, there's so many reasons why. If I really had to think about why, there's no conference for Ethereum like that. If you've ever seen like a Ethereum gathering for, like, I don't know, the developers or the fans getting together, it's so tiny. It's like this insignificant, nobody cares about Ethereum, like as far as like the fans and stuff. Bitcoin, man, this is one of the most expensive places in America, Miami, and this place was packed. I mean, there was hundreds of thousands of people. There was professional football players, swimmers, tennis, congresswomen. I think a congressman went as well. We're talking massive billionaires. We got Jordan Peterson, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Are you kidding me? Like the people that are involved in Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of them are saying good things, but Bitcoin is the digital gold for these people, and so I didn't know much about Bitcoin. I mean, I was like, okay, that's pretty solid. It's out of my realm. I'm a GPU miner. What do I really know about Bitcoin? But then I learned, man, like how much money is in this. And again, listening to Kevin O'Leary, he gives you what you want. He doesn't give you what you want to hear. He gives you what you need to hear, right? He believes it can be the 12th sector. Right now we have 11 sectors, and I mean, I could see crypto being that as well, but that has to come with regulation, right? And I'm not saying I'm pro regulation, but without some sort of regulation, you're gonna have another Terra Luna, you're gonna have another Tether, you're gonna have all these other. What was the one that recently locked everybody's money? It's huge.
Oh, I was just talking about it the other day with you guys.
Why can't I think of their name? The exchange. Anyways,
God,
that
I
happens.
freaking heard about it yesterday too.
What you're talking about was Solana. It was with Solana, right?
Solana as well, but there's an
Like
actual exchange though.
Yeah, it's like Sol something or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of it, but right now, somebody in the comment section, feel free to remind us what that is. But that's what happens when you have no regulation at all, and it's the wild, wild west, and you have Timmy. Well, I guess I'm a Timmy, and you have Sam over here doing it, right?
Yeah, right.
Right, because if it collapses, who's gonna say, hey, let's stop it or let's slow it down, right? Like if all of a sudden Nvidia crashes right now in the stock market, there comes a point where the SEC cuts it off. Literally, it's programmed automatically. It's not like they're looking at it. If it ever hits, I don't know, minus whatever percentage they have calculated, it freezes, it halts, the stock 20%. Freezes. Yeah. Well, and then they look at it. They say, okay, what the heck is going on here? Is this manipulation? Is this whatever, right? And so, yeah, with crypto, you don't get that. The thing could go 99.9% down in an hour, and that's it. You're screwed.
Do you think we need that?
I think if you want to be rich, we need that. If you want to keep having this like the underground thing and stick it to the man kind of deal, then yeah, it'll be cool, but it'll never really get the big money, right? The Timmys aren't going to raise up the price, and unfortunately, as much as I don't like it, I do think we're going to have some form of regulation, or else you're just going to keep having this craziness. You know what I mean?
So regulation in my eyes is of value when it allows you to get more mainstream investors into it. That's kind of the big one. When we can get ETFs into it, and we can start to add it to traditional portfolios. I agree. I'd love to see that. Where my concern comes in a lot when we start talking about regulation is like we constantly hear from Congress, well, we need to protect our constituents and our investors, and it's like, hold up, like understood, but we don't need your dirty hands into it that far. Yeah. Like we are adults. We don't need you to protect us. Why do you keep? And there's a fine line between protecting, taxing, and regulating. Like, and that's where yes, and where our Congress people like to go ahead and go, oh, I'm protecting you. It's like, no, you want to tax the shit out of this, and then you want to go ahead and regulate it to the point where we can't get these big crypto swings because you want to pump the brakes on that exchange because you're like, whoa, you're growing too quick, and it's like, no. Like, so we also need to go ahead and also make sure that we're not changing the identity of these projects and these blockchains in order to flip those identities so that, we can see who owns that wallet. I need to know. When you get to that point, it's no longer crypto. It's just a straight up stock now. Right. And it's like, no, like we need to keep our identity. The crypto projects need to keep their identity. Blockchain needs to keep the value of it, where it's like, no, we don't need to know who owns that wallet. You don't need to know who that is. And that's the difference with like regulation. So if we can get, as DJ said, into regulation to the point where we can start to get these major financial firms in the door, awesome. Well, if we have to cross into taxation and jeopardizing identity on blockchains and stuff like that, it's like, it's not worth it. Like it's not a stock. It's not a stock. Like we have to remember that.
Yeah. So I wonder though, like, can people even control Bitcoin like that? Like the way Ethereum is saying, hey, we're going to stop the merge or halt it or extend it. To my understanding, I could be completely wrong on this. Bitcoin, it's already set in stone. It's going. It's a system that just moves, and we can't just change it. Like we can't go in there and adjust this, adjust that. And I think it's kind of the beautiful thing. Where a lot of these other coins, man, they're doing what they want. No hate to Ergo, I support them, but they're changing their block rewards or not a halving, but I believe they're reducing it by 3% for the next future periods of time. So that way there's some price appreciation, hopefully. And so I'm not a huge fan of people being able to alter and do what they want. I kind of like the sit and forget, and it's out of our hands, and the system kind of just does its thing.
But you have to remember, Bitcoin is so mature versus these other projects, though. So, when you're talking about your Ergos, your Fluxes, the other ones out there, like they haven't been developed as long. So we really don't have that. Like here's a great example. Like I feel like we're gonna call these legacy coins, which is so funny because like crypto is so young. Yeah. But like something like a Litecoin. When's the last time you heard Litecoin was manipulating their price structure or changing out their payout structure? It's like you don't hear anything. Right. It's set and forget type of deal. Yeah. And it's like all these other projects are so young that their development is like every other week. We're rolling out this, we're rolling out that, we're changing this. It's like you don't see that with some of these quote legacy projects. And so I do believe, and I'm glad you guys brought it up, I do believe that some of these legacy coins are really is what's going to hold us up through a lot of this market now. Going back to like what we know, what is stable, you know, things like that. I'm hopefully we'll see a run up on Litecoin over the next 12 months.
It would be nice.
Yes, it would be. Yeah, I remember that was like one of the first things I bought on Coinbase before I was like even into mining. I bought 50 Litecoin, and I'll never forget. It was like worth like $2,000 maybe or something, right? And I think I lost like a couple $100, and I was like, oh damn it! I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of this stuff. I sold it, and now I'm like, now I know about crypto. I'm like, god damn it! If I was only not so stupid when I just bought that because I was like, ooh, it's going up, I'm gonna buy it. Oh shit, it's coming down, I'm gonna sell it. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's so hard when you're first starting. You don't know jack about anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in the last bull run, I wasn't really mining, but I was trading. I was day trading, and I remember I had a lot of Litecoin, and I was like, you know what, man? For some reason, I just don't feel like this is the future, and so I converted it all to Bitcoin. I lost my wallet. I forgot everything on Coinbase, and I logged in Korea because of my job. I logged in Korea. You can't go outside the US, I guess, with my account, or maybe just not Coinbase in general. I don't really know, but they locked me out. And so I've been locked out for like 5 years. I discovered it like months ago, and it ended up being worth like almost $2,000. And the Litecoin back, the Litecoin that I converted back then was probably only like couple $100, but Bitcoin appreciated just so much. I'm sure now it's probably only worth like 600 or 700, but it was worth almost $2,000. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, you're like sick. That's a nice win when you find that out of nowhere. Well, I guess let's do the last segment of the night, and we're gonna talk about what you guys have coming up. I mean, I know DJ, you already shipped out most of your farm, but do you have any like big plans with the channel or anything going on in your life? Let's we'll kick it off with you.
I got 2 more rigs that the person that I'm hosting with is going to put online. So I think that should give me another 1.5 gigahash, maybe 1.3. Oh, damn. The goal this year is 10 gigahash. And then I think I'm done for a while. I was going to do 20.
Pushing. So you're still pushing to buy more right now? Or are you going to wait a little bit?
I still had those GPUs laying around my house. Those are all the ones I shipped out. So I bought the 4 gigahash farm. I bought the 4 gigahash.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, I had the 4 gigahash farm that I bought off the guy, but I also had like an additional 1.5 just sitting in my closet. So now I'm finally getting all of that hashing, right? And I'm pretty sure I should be close to 10. That's the goal for the year. Regardless, if I don't hit my goal, I'll buy it. I don't care what price at. Towards the end of the year, I'm going to hit 10 gigahash no matter what this year.
That's awesome. I have to ask you though, are you ever going to solo mine again?
I know I'm doing it right now. Oh, I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I just started again yesterday. And there's 3 reasons. I'm sorry, this isn't.
Give it to us.
Since you asked, there's 3 reasons. 1, network hash rate is coming down. 2, Ethereum's really not super profitable anyways right now. I did the math. Even though I'm making like $80 to $100 for the month, honestly, as long as I hit a block, I mean, I'll pretty much make the same. But I could also hit it a mega block. And the 3rd reason,
a mega block.
It's really fun.
What's a mega block go for now? Do you know?
Well, you know, it could be 6 ETH, it could be 20. I actually got lucky. I hit a 2.3. It's supposed to be 1.9 So,
oh, really? Nice. There you go. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, plus the MEV, but yeah, hey, you never know. And then 3, it's so fun and it's so addicting. And also now I have a lot. Now I have way more gigahash than I did back when I was doing with 4 gigahash. I mean, we're close to 10. I feel like with the network being lower 900s, almost 800s at times. It's a lot easier now than it was a couple months ago. So
he hits a mega block and he's like, all right, I'm buying another 20 gigahash. Let's go, boys. Let's do it. You know?
Well, I mean,
he's like, I got no, there you go.
That's the gambler in us that would definitely do that, you know, because you get so excited, like, oh, I could hit it again for sure, you know? Man, that's crazy, dude.
Then he builds his own farm. He's like, screw this. I'm just building a full warehouse. Let's go.
Oh, man.
And it won't have power.
and it won't have power for months, for 22 months. Jesus. Oh man, hobbyist. What about you, man? What do you got in the works cooking for the channel?
I got my shed yesterday.
Nice.
So I'm excited about
Congrats.
that. I posted it in our chat here. My little weird looking lean-to shed. But it'll serve its purpose, which is exactly what I want. I'll have a video coming out. So it's a 6x8 shed. The door is on like a weird wonky side. Like when I asked them, I'm like, put it on the 6-foot side. They're like, what? I'm like, trust me, it's what I need. It's what I want. So now the nice thing is I'm excited to get into that. It's a big victory to finally get that in, which is really funny because like when I ordered it like 2 months ago, we were in a completely different place than where we are now. And so the nice thing is like I'm not in a huge rush. Like I'm not pulling a chump change and like next week, bam, we're using it. It's going, we're good. You know, chump change would do everything in like a week. So right now I have everything in my mining room and it's at max capacity. I mean, I have 86 GPUs in there running right now. I have 8 mini ASICs in there. My Jazz miners in there. And the only thing I don't have in there is about 6 GPUs and my ASIC miner, my S19J Pro, which sucks because like right now I'd love to have that up and running. But that room's at like 107 right now.
Whoa!
At all times. Yeah, so it's
really
hot.
high. Holy shit.
The nice thing is like right here, it's only 75.
Nice.
So it's doing its job, which is awesome.
Good.
Right.
But it's warm in there. The cards are fine. They're comfortable. I mean, every once in a while we get a little warm, but it's running good. But the shed, I really want to take my time with it. I mean, we're in that bear market now. Like it could get worse, but it's a bear market. Let's be honest here.
Right.
So for me, it's like I want to take my time with the shed. I can create content around it. Believe it or not, my shed content so far has done better than any of my other content. It's like, all right, cool.
Sweet.
So I'm going to take my time with it. It's really funny. It was getting delivered and I have to have it inspected by the township to say like, it's the size I ordered and told them I was getting the permit for and it's in the place. So literally I messaged the guy and he got back to me. He's like, I'll be right out. So literally as they're putting it on the base, the guy shows up, he hands me a piece of paper. He's like, looks good, walks away. I'm like, all right, awesome,
bud.
great. Yeah. So that was the only thing I needed to do. So I actually will have a video coming out next week on the shed, doing a little tour, going over like my thoughts and ideas. And I already started in my garage. I tore out about a 6-foot area of drywall off the wall, starting to run all my electrical through the garage. That'll do a conduit, pipe it out. Not going to run it underground because it's about 3.5 feet between the back of the garage and the actual shed. So that's fine. I'm just going to pipe it above ground and get it in there. But yeah, so now it's just shed life now. Like I got a few pieces of content I need to get out, sponsorship commitments, and then it's just going to be shed. Yeah. Do an intake. I took Chump Change's recommendation on the Gable vents. I just ordered 3 more of those expensive Gable vents. So now I have 9. Man. I have 9 of those now, so it's going to be a full wall. So I'm excited.
They look
I'm
good,
take my time.
They do look good, and they're good quality.
Yep.
You know, and they're all screened and stuff. I mean, the screens, it's like it's not like metal, but it's done well the way they do it. It's also whatever hot glued or whatever around the rim. So you put the filter in between too, right? So you could rinse. I
haven't done it yet, but I will be. I got the filter ready to go. The filter actually not doing a replay. I'm not going to reuse the filter. I'm just going to buy more. It's like $25 for a roll.
Oh, so
bad. I'm just going to put it in, throw it out, replace it. So I'm excited for that. The shed's definitely going to be something. I'm looking at like painting the floor in order to seal it off just from like water. It's wood, so I want to seal it off to make sure like, you know, from water or any rot or anything like that. So yeah, I'm excited for it. That's pretty much going to be like everything coming down the pipeline at this point. And then I want to get a lot in that shed. You know, and trust me, once you open that up and I'm like, I'm going to put a rack right in the middle. It's going to hold everything. But that's really going to be most of the equipment. Any of my open air GPU frames, I'm probably going to leave in my mining room. But all my server cases, the ASIC miner, all these like mini ASIC stuff like that, just put it all out there. It'll do better with the airflow. I'll keep all my open rigs in here. So I'm excited for it. I mean, it
looks good. The way they did it, the air gap underneath will help it from rotting. So like that's good that you have that air gap.
Yeah, I'm gonna do well. What it was like I built that deck for it to sit on, and then they had told me that like they can't remove those 2x2s on the bottom. They use that for like delivery. So I'm like, all right, makes sense. So I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? So I'm actually gonna do like a white lattice underneath it, like there to cover it from like critters and animals and stuff like that. So but it keeps airflow, which is great, and we'll go from there. So yeah, it's just something I wish I did like 2 years ago. It's like I should just put a shed to start with.
But hey, look at it this way: you got a whole finished basement now, so you don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At least it's done. You don't have to ever do it again, unless you want to change something.
What about you? What about you? What do you got in the pipeline?
Really, same thing as you. It's not going to be a shed, but it's just redoing the crypto mining trailer so I can I need more intakes on it. It was getting pretty hot in there. It did get up to like right around your temperatures, 105, 109 or so. It was like I seen it peak there, and I was like, nope, go in there, shut it down. It's because I don't have enough air coming in. The intakes I have, there's only 3, and they're like small 10-inch intakes. Nothing crazy, and the fans work really well exhausting, but they can only do so much if they are fighting, you know, the air coming in. There's not enough.
It's making an oven. It's making an oven inside that.
Exactly. So what happened was it's too much negative pressure. When you know, we've talked about this before. Negative pressure is great for GPU mining, but there's a fine line. If you cross that line, it turns into an oven, and it's just it can't escape. It physically can't. So I mean that's my plan there, and then adding additional solar. That's really the only thing. I just ordered 4 more panels, so I'm gonna get that hooked up, and I plan on getting the Doge miners. So hopefully, you know, when Elon Musk decides to pump Dogecoin again, we'll we'll be cashing out on that. Yeah, so
I saw that.
Yeah, so was
nothing.
That was a little story, right? So he's getting sued or something for pumping it. Did you guys hear that? There was like an article.
No, I didn't.
Somebody was going to.
My guess is the FCC was trying to jump in on that because they tried to slap his wrist a while ago. Like, you can't be doing this. And he's like, I'm posting on social media.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking away my freedom of speech if I just say Dogecoin to the moon, and then you guys are so like, trust me, he has all the power in the world to tell the FCC to pound sand. Like.
Well, dude, he pays so much in taxes. You kidding me? You know,
one of the richest people on planet Earth. He used to be #1 not long ago. He don't care about no damn fine.
No, it's so crazy. But yeah, he was getting sued from somebody because they invested in Doge when he pumped it, and then they lost money. It's like, dude, what do you gambled on somebody else telling you what to do? That's like the #1 rule. Don't take financial advice from people online. What the hell's wrong with you? Like,
there's a difference there between like them approaching Elon Musk and be like, hey, I'd like you to be my financial advisor.
Exactly.
And I want to take your advice one-on-one. I'm going to give you my money and you're going to invest it for me and blah, blah, blah. And then turning and not signing anything that says that your financial investor is not responsible for the market. And then all turning around and the market does abysmal and you're like, I'm going to sue you. It's like, wait, there wasn't even a chance it came close to that. This guy posted on social media, dumbass and
you follow him on your own free will, and oh my god, it just drives me nuts, man. But yeah,
good luck winning.
DJ, check it out. You need to check out that article. It's so like it's stupidly foolish. Like, there's no chance this guy's winning. It just drives me nuts. But anyways, I think we're about there, a little over an hour. So guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for the Mining Roundtable episode 17. Thank you, DJ, for sitting in for Mr. Red Fox. I will leave a link to all of these guys' channels, DJ, Hobbyist, down in the description below. So feel free to follow them. And obviously, we appreciate you guys for hanging out. Next episode will probably be on either one of their channels. We're not really sure what's going on, so we'll figure it out. But until next time, guys, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace out.
Later.